for November 5th to order. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which is standing one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to deliver an invocation before we start the meeting? None heard. We will pause for a moment of silence. Okay, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Whitteman.
Here.
Alderman Detweiler. Alderman Gittemeyer. Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Nay.
Here.
Alderman Waters.
Here.
Alderman Wilson.
Present.
You'll get your presents at Christmas. Ooh, shots fired. All right, to start off tonight, we have a proclamation, recognize Boy Scout Troop 968. This Boy Scout troop has been heavily engaged with the city, and they've volunteered extensively for several of our events. So we want to read this proclamation. The proclamation says a lot, so I'll let that speak for itself. If you guys wouldn't mind, could you guys stand up while we're being recognizing you? Thank you. Proclamation recognizing Boy Scout Troop 968 for outstanding service to the city of Dardenne Prairie. Whereas Boy Scout Troop 968 has been a valued partner and community leader in the city of Dardenne Prairie for the past 7 to 10 years, and whereas the members of Troop 968 have consistently demonstrated civic pride, responsibility, and dedication to community service through their active participation in numerous city projects and volunteer initiatives, and whereas the troop has also adopted and maintained a section of, whereas as Troop 968 has provided outstanding support during the city's annual Prairie Day celebration by assisting with post-event cleanup efforts, performing this vital task with reliability, enthusiasm, and excellence year after year, and whereas the troop has also adopted and maintained a section of Feisey Road from Bryan Road West to Morning Star Church by organizing cleanup efforts 2 or 3 times per year, contributing significantly to the beautification and safety of our community. And whereas in 2024, Troop 968 went above and beyond by setting out and collecting American flags around Dardenne Prairie City Hall and at major intersections for the 4th of July celebration, stepping up on short notice and performing this task with care and respect. And whereas Troop 968 plans to continue this patriotic tradition in the coming years, embodying the Scout values of service, leadership, and community spirit that strengthen the fabric of our city. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and board of aldermen of the city of Dardenne Prairie do hereby express their sincere appreciation and gratitude to Boy Scout Troop 968 for their many contributions to our community, their continued partnership with the city, and their exemplary service as role models for civic engagement and youth leadership. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the city of Dardenne Prairie to be affixed this 5th day of November, 2025. Mayor Keith Whitteman. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a round of applause. All right, back to the agenda. Does anyone have any questions on the consent agenda? Motion to approve by Alderman Johnson. Second by Alderman Detweiler. All in favor? Any opposed? None heard. The consent agenda is approved. Do we have anyone who wishes to speak in public comment?
Aldani.
Good evening. My name is Bud Oldani. My wife and I, Carl, live at 803 Benefit Street, Villas of Providence. I'd like to express my opinion concerning the Bates Road project. Removal of center turn lane. I don't know how many of our aldermen and women regularly travel Bates Road. Besides my walking on Bates Road regularly with our dog twice a day, we regularly drive out of Benefit Street onto Bates. Bates from the outer road to Avalon is a speed track. Driving in their souped-up autos regularly accelerate up Bates, reaching much more than the 35-mile-per-hour speed limit. I have personally been bumper-ridden, turning into Bates from the outer road by speedsters who can't wait to get that pedal to the metal. My reason for telling you this is the project calls for removal of the center lane. Mr. and Mrs. Alderman, that is not a left turn lane for the people of Providence. It is a safety lane. Getting out of the speedster's way is paramount in my mind. Addition of the 6-foot bike lanes. I wonder if anyone from City Hall has ever taken account of bike usage on Bates Road. As I mentioned before, I walk up and down Bates twice a day, including weekends. If I see 2 to 3 bikes a month, that's a lot. It isn't used for bike travel as the need for 2 bike lanes would justify. Another important reason for not removing the center lane is the proposed development on Bates and Outer Road. I have turned right out of Benefit at 7:30 a.m. to take a left on the Outer Road, only to see 13 cars lined in the center lane waiting to take a left. 2 cars went from that right lane where they were standing and taken a left in front of the waiting cars. A very dangerous situation. I can only imagine with traffic coming from the development onto Bates in the morning, it would be certain chaos without a center lane. Our obvious need, as Alderman Detweiler put the last about a month ago, our obvious need for exit entry to the outer road is paramount also. I think you stated it at the last meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dean.
Tom Stanton.
Thank you for allowing me to express my concerns with this Bates Road modification. As Bud expressed, the vast majority of cars on Bates and South Outer Road turn left, and they're backed up during rush hour in the morning and in the evening. And then during the weekends, it's just as busy. Once they finish that roundabout up there at Weldon Springs and Crusher, it just increases the amount of volume coming through to cut through and bypass having to travel through K and catch that 364. On top of that, that center lane, if you think about the number of houses, there's not a lot of them, but there's still houses that actually have an address of Bates. They were there before these subdivisions were. UPS, Amazon use those center lanes to keep from blocking traffic while they deliver packages to those houses. So it doesn't matter all these little turnouts into subdivisions. You need it for a number of different places. Even the lawn care companies use that center lane when they're doing any kind of lawn care for those people that live on Bates. And it's also utilized by tree trimmers when they're doing any kind of work. So there's more use than just cars turning. And with the amount of electric bikes ridden by underage kids that's on end, we don't need to promote that on Bates. We don't need bicycles. we passed a 1/2 cent sales tax, St. Charles did, to increase the amount of paved roads or for bike paths throughout the whole county. I don't understand this need to ride on a main road. And it's not to go grocery shopping. Half of them are in their spandex with all their advertisement all over them. So that's what I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stanton.
Idle and Lee Tuvison.
She said she left given the discussion in the previous meeting, so she'll be back at the next meeting to this.
Deborah Fowler.
Fowler. I live at 809 Benefit. I've lived there since 2007. And I have to agree with the two previous people that spoke. The traffic has only increased since I've lived there. It's always been a dangerous intersection. So I don't think putting bikers in that area would be a good idea. I know she said something about keeping the center lane and maybe narrowing the lane. But when you turn off the outer road onto Bates right now, if you're not cautious and you're going too fast, you'll go in that lane already. So that could be a problem too. So I just strongly disagree with getting rid of the center lane. I go to work 4 days a week, and there's usually at least 10 cars in front of me to make that turn. And by the time I make the turn, there's 10 cars behind me. So, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler.
Mike Woldridge.
Evening, my name is Mike Woldridge and I live at 802 Benefit. And I've talked to you before about my concerns about this proposed project, so I don't want to repeat too much of what I've said. But after listening to the speaker that we had this evening, a couple of things kind of come to mind. One is that if the idea of a bike path is to have an alternate mode of transportation for somebody that can't drive anymore, who in their right mind thinks it's okay to put somebody on a street with a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit on a bicycle? It just doesn't make sense, and I know that I'm talking about people my age, but it's a fact of life. The other thing is the idea that somebody is going to use this road to access, to go over to Hawk Point or whatever it is there in Lake St. Louis, their 8 or 10-year-old. Really? Just to go get a Chick-fil-A or an Andy's ice cream? That's just beyond belief. It's not set in reality. So I would just ask you to, use some common sense. I know this is supposed to be for the design work, still a cost associated with that work. And regardless of what the young lady here said, and Matt and I have talked about this before, it's not as easy as she says to change the plan and change the application. And I think everybody needs to be aware of that because there will be pushback in dealing with the county road board, dealing with East-West Gateway. They're not always that amenable. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Woolridge.
Arnie Dienoff.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the Board of Aldermen. My name is Arnie C. A.C. Dienoff, City County Public Advocate. First of all, I wanted to talk about proposed bill 2553. I'm not sure if I wrote that down correctly. I replaced the existing sign at the park next door to City Hall. I believe it's less than 7 or 8 years, either during the Gotway administration or the Zucker administration, that sign was put up. So why wasn't the proper signage bought then? Why another $25,844.01 expenditure on the taxpayer shoulders needs to be brought up again is beyond me. I'm just shocked and in dismay. And an ordinance for compensation of the Board of Aldermen is just kind of out of the box. And I think it's about community service and not about how you can make your pockets more richer. The current salary is $375 or $4,500 annually, or $187.50 per meeting. That you want to increase it to an annual salary of $8,700, which is a 93.33% increase to my calculations. That would be an additional $150 for an expense account for who knows what exactly. A lot of other municipalities do not get that type of offering. And then you want to increase the monthly stipend for aldermen to $475 or $237.50 per meeting. But what's really shocking is the $8,700 salary compared to the existing salary of $4,500. I think the community may be outraged, especially in today's tough economic times, especially when federal employees, and I believe one employee on the Board of Aldermen, it hasn't gotten a paycheck in over a month. And I think that the TANF and the SNAP benefits that have not been given out to the 42 million Americans and 3% of St. Charles Countyans who are working poor who need that to get by. It's giving back to community. It's about community service, not how wealthy or how much more you can put in your bank account. But Frontenac, Ladue, and Webster Groves, a population 10,000 more residents, pays their aldermen $25 per meeting. And I think that's real and true public service without financial rewards and financial gain. Alderpersons, I'm asking you to reach into your heart, to use your mind in the sense that God gave you, and to do the right thing in the common sense. We're going into harsh economic times, and a downturn on our economy is the sales tax rate of the city is going towards a downturn, and you're going to have less revenues. I think that we're going to have a housing shortage, and I ask you to vote this bill down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dino.
That was the last speaker.
Okay. All right, moving on to new business. Next up on the agenda is Bill 2552. Can I have a motion to read Bill 2552 for the first time by title only?
Don't move.
By Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard. City Attorney?
Bill number 2552, an ordinance of the city of Dayton Prairie, Missouri, setting the filing dates, times, and place for the general municipal election to be held on April 7th, 2026 in the city of Dayton Prairie, Missouri.
Thanks, City Attorney. Any discussion by the board? I would say so, yeah. Entertain a motion for second reading on Bill 2552 by title only for the second time. Motion made by Alderman Detweiler, second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unheard, City Attorney?
Bill number 2552, an ordinance of the city of Dayton Prairie, Missouri, setting the filing dates, times, and place for the general municipal election to be held on April 7th, 2026 in the city of Dayton Prairie, Missouri.
Any further discussion from the board?
Move for a roll call vote.
Motion for roll call vote by Alderman Johnson.
So move.
Second.
Second. Sorry.
Second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? City Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Detweiler. Aye. Alderman Nay. Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Waters.
Aye.
Alderman Gettemeyer.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Ordinance 2385.
And I declare Bill 2552 passed and adopted as ordinance number 238. Moving on to other new business. Bill 2553. Can I have a motion to read Bill 2553 for the first time by title only?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Detweiler. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unheard. City Attorney, please read Bill 2553 by title only for the first time.
Bill number 25-53, an ordinance of the City of Dayton Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to execute a purchase order with Stewart Signs for an outdoor 6 mm full-color digital sign.
Okay. Any discussion from the board?
Yes. I'd just like to say, this board that's up here now was not around when that sign was placed. The wrong type of sign was placed in the first place out there. It is a very big benefit to this city, and I think this board should correct it and bring that benefit back to the residents of Darting Prairie.
Thank you, Alderman Johnson. Any further discussion or comment on Bill 2553? As this is not administrative, we will move on to old business. First up on the agenda for old business is Bill 2542. It was read one time on 9/17, September 17th, and it was read a second time on October 1st, 2025. So that being said, City Attorney, we go. So, okay, another second reading?
Oh, there was a second?
Yeah.
This would be a motion.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So give an opportunity, since there's already been a second reading, we will not have a second reading. Can I read it again anyway? Okay. All right, so I'll just go ahead and read it again anyway for the edification of the crowd. Bill 2542 it's an ordinance of the City of Darby Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to execute a surface transportation block grant program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Bates Road Project Phase 1 project, STBG 5407662. So this is what we discussed earlier. And again, I think that everybody that's here now was likely in the previous session. What we previously discussed on this in the work session is that this would not, this hasn't been designed yet, and there are avenues and variables that could still satisfy requirements and retain the third lane. That design is something that is to be determined, and it will be something that the board will have influence and weight on. And there will also be public opinion and public hearing sessions to discuss that design as well. At the end of the day, the board will still have an opportunity to say no if the design is not to the board's liking. This is for advancement to the design of the road. But to be clear, there's been a lot of, I think everybody here is probably, a lot of folks here are probably here for that reason. There's a couple of things that are in the balance here. If we move forward with it, we have an opportunity to design it, and we take advantage of the federal funding that is in about $1 million of federal funding. If we say no now, we won't get funding for it. We'll have to, and next time we have to fix the road, it'll have to come completely out of our pocket. So it's kind of that's where we're at with this vote. There's nothing being finalized right now. It's going through design, and the board will have an opportunity to finalize the vote later. That being said, that's kind of what I have to say about it, but I will let the board and the audience know I have to abstain from this vote due to my daytime employee, and this is federal funding. So I will have to abstain from this vote.
I'd just like to comment that I believe we should move forward to try to come to a resolution on this, especially with the grant of $1.2 million, which the city doesn't have money like that to be spending on roads. As you look into road now, this project would take over 2 years before it ever got started. As it went through the process and all that, by that time, Bates Road will be in need of major repairs, as we have engineers looked in it and done the studies on it. And at the time, it would be a great expense to the city if we had to fund the whole project, because right now, even with the grant, we are putting forth, how much would we put forth on this?
Like 4% of the project, it's like 80, a little over $80,000.
Okay, so, it'd be quite a bit for the city to take on. So my deal is, I think we can come to a resolution on this. And I think we ought to move forward and, get the project on its way.
I disagree. I heard what she said. I'd like to believe what she says, but she is not the one who assigns us points. And she is not the one who will take the points away if we don't do the bike lanes, or she will be the one who would, stand here and tell us we could do that. But I can't look these people in the face and take that center turn lane away. It's wrong. And we saw what happened with Stump Road. Now, whether that was the prior administration that led us to believe we could make no changes, I don't know. None of us know what happened in those meetings because we weren't allowed to be in them. So I just feel like that I would like to believe that what she's saying is what would happen, but I can't take that chance. That's my ward.
There, 1 second. With that said, if that's the move of the board, does the city have a plan B? Because the road does need to be fixed. Is that correct? No, I know right now, but I'm just saying in years to come, do we have a plan B? If the answer is no, then the city needs to know as well as us.
The city would have to fully fund the design and construction of the project. We currently do not have any funds budgeted.
Okay. Entertain a motion for a roll call vote.
So move.
Moved by Alderman Johnson. Second by Alderman Gettlemeyer. Sorry, I couldn't hear who was down there. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unheard. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman-
Yes.
Alderman Detweiler,
Nay.
Alderman Waters. Alderman Gettemeyer.
Nay.
Alderman Johnson,
Aye.
Alderman Nay.
All right. The motion fails. Okay, moving on. Next up is Bill 2548. City Attorney, this was read once on October 15th, 2025. Would you please read it? Can I entertain a motion for a second reading for Bill 2548?
So move.
Moved by Alderman Johnson,
Second.
second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? City Attorney, please read Bill 2548 for the second time by title only.
Bill number 2548, an ordinance of the city of Dayton Prairie, Missouri, approving a conditional use permit for certain property located at 7827 Town Square Avenue, suite numbers 101 and 102.
Mayor, if I could communicate to the board, the applicant indicated he was out of the country and asked that the board postpone the second reading on this until the second meeting in November.
Okay. We just had a second reading, so we'll just postpone the vote then if, well, go ahead. Can I entertain a motion from the board to postpone the final vote on Bill 2548? Or would anybody like to have any further discussion on this before we do so?
Yeah, I think it's ideal to postpone it because he's also talked about not putting a drive-through in, different changes that I think he would bring forward. I'll make that motion, postpone the vote.
Yeah, I'd like for him to be here because I went to his other store on Old 94 and observed some things that I did not feel like we would want here in the city of Dardenne Prairie. So I want to question him on whether he's going to have those in there before we move forward on this. So I'm glad we're postponing it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any further comment, discussion? Entertain a motion to postpone the vote on Bill 2548 until the second meeting in this month in November.
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Wilson. Second by Alderman Detweiler. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry, can't get it right. None heard. So the motion or the vote will be postponed to the next meeting. Okay, next up is Bill 2550. This was read one time on October 15th, 2025. Can I entertain a motion to read Bill 2550 for the second time by title only?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Johnson.
Second.
Second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard. City Attorney, please read Bill 2550 for the second time by title only.
Bill number 2550, an ordinance of the city of Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, changing the compensation for the Board of Aldermen of the city.
Any further discussion on Bill 2550?
Yes, I'd like to bring up that the stipend that is brought into play here, as I discussed in the budget meeting, I think something like that should be brought and that money used for mini laptops, iPads, or whatever for the aldermen, which we provide our own, and it's something that would be moved on to each alderman as time goes on. And with technology, it would also cut down on waste and all that. I'm not in favor of the stipend and all in there.
I think that the stipend can also eliminate the need for all these copies that Kim has to do because we could print our own at home unless it were to be a big drawing that we need to look at. So I'm willing to do my own printing at home from the electronic version that Kim would send, which would eliminate a lot of staff time.
Just as a point of clarification, the $150 monthly stipend, it was intended to be a technology stipend specifically for cell phone and home internet.
City Attorney, do you want to add that comment in there?
Yeah, and just as a reminder that the compensation provided for in this bill does not take effect until after the election of each alderman. Right?
As far as the stipend for cell phones and that, I think we all have our own cell phone. I used to be in this situation years ago when cell phones first came out, and it was a point of you paid by the minute. And being in certain situations and positions, you had to up your minutes to compensate for them. I also think that if it is a problem with cell phones or that, I would suggest that the city provide cell phones for the aldermen and that, and would eliminate this stipend, which would be probably a cheaper cost than $150 on there. But that's just my opinion.
Alderman Johnson, do you think that would be less expensive than a $150 stipend per month for internet and cell phone usage?
Well, the way I look at it is I wouldn't even take that. First of all, I pay nothing extra to do my business with the city on my cell phone, and I pay nothing extra on my internet usage to do my business with the city. But I do have to provide my own equipment for the iPad or small computer, whatever you use it, which mine's outdated. It can't be updated anymore. I mean, it's probably 12 years old now, but I mean, those are things that I think we could use and utilize and pass on from one alderman to another. Instead of paying out, an additional $150 stipend a month.
Did you get your cell phone when you got your iPad when you had to pay for minutes?
Yes, I did.
That's pretty old.
I know. And it won't take updates, but it still works. I'm old too, though, right? Nah. I wish I would compute like that. It'd be a lot simpler.
So what would the board like to do with Bill 2550 in relation to this stipend? Is there anything that the board would like to do to change the bill as it's currently situated? Nothing heard. Okay. Can I make a,
Thought we- Sorry, go ahead, Mayor. Just talking, you asked me a question. Go on.
okay.
Apologize.
All right, so the second reading has been read. Any further discussion on 2550? Entertain a motion for roll call vote.
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Johnson,
Second.
second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Heard city clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Gettemeyer. Nay. Alderman Wilson,
Nay.
Alderman Nay. Alderman Detweiler. Alderman Johnson,
Nay.
Alderman Waters.
Bill 2550 fails. Okay, moving on to the next bill, 2551, read by one time on October 15th. It's an ordinance of the city of Darden Prairie, I'm sorry. So we need to read a second time. It's getting late here. All right. City Attorney, would you, can I entertain a motion to read Bill 2551 by title only for the second time?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Johnson, second by
Second.
Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Unheard. City Attorney, could you please read Bill 2551 by title only for the second time?
Bill number 2551, an ordinance of the city of Darden Prairie, Missouri, exempting the city from section 311.2026, parens, House Bill 1041, close parens, relating to 24 operation of liquor licensees beginning June 11, 2026 through July 19, 2026.
Motion of clarification that we had reached out to each one of our businesses that would be affected by this bill, and none of them had any intentions of extending their liquor license, correct?
Correct.
To be clear, we reached out and had only one response who said they had no intentions of. The Knights of Columbus are the only people who responded to our email and said that they were not intending to expand their hours. We had no other communications.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Unheard. Entertain a motion for roll call vote.
So moved.
Move by Alderman Johnson,
Second.
second by Alderman Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Not heard. City clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Nay.
Okay.
Alderman Johnson,
Nay.
Alderman Detweiler. Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Waters.
Aye.
Alderman Gettemeyer. Ordinance 2386.
Okay. And now declare Bill 2551 passed and adopted as ordinance number 2386. Moving on, we will move to officer and staff communications. City Attorney,
I have nothing, Mayor.
City Engineer,
I have nothing, Mayor.
City Administrator.
He's left, but I just wanted to take a minute to thank Mike Wooldridge for his continued service to our Planning and Zoning Commission. He was reappointed this evening, and he serves as our chairman, and we appreciate all the work that he does.
Thank you, City Administrator. Alderman.
I have nothing, Mayor.
Nothing heard. Okay. Well, we lost the audience, so maybe I should have said this in the work session, but so this week coming up in front of us, next Monday is the 250th anniversary of the Marine Corps. And the following day is Veterans Day. So I wanted to wish all the Marines happy birthday and happy Veterans Day to any of those veterans who served. I wanted to also note that one of the things that we've added to the budget this year, which will be forthcoming, is going to be next year. It's going to be presented next year. We're going to start doing a better job at honoring the veterans in our community. So stay tuned for that. We're going to have some additional ways to recognize and honor those veterans that have served our country, those veterans here from Dardenne Prairie. So I'm excited about that. So I want to thank the board also for, it's an initiative that's near and dear to my heart. And I want to thank the board for the support on that. And also wanted to also congratulate Chairman Woolridge for being reappointed as well, but he's left our presence. So all that to be said, thank you all for showing, those who stayed. And thanks St. Charles County Police, Tom, for coming in and keeping the crowd under control tonight. So that being said, I entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Wilson, second by Alderman Gettemeyer. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Declare the meeting adjourned at 7:52.